Hi, everybody. Welcome to this series of self discovery. My name is Sarah. I'm so happy you joined us today, and this is going to be a few parts. I can't tell at the moment. It might be four, it might be three, it might be seven. We shall see. But the purpose of this is for us to go deep and discover who we really are, if we haven't done so yet, and to actually tap into our higher selves and be able to do stuff from there and obviously get rid of the things that might be in our way, and that includes the self-doubt, the fear, the and all the negative things that tend to stand in our way as we set foot to do the things that we want to do. So purpose for doing this is obviously after the recent um, New Year goals that we did and planning your days and everything. I had people saying that they would like to do all those things. However, they feel trapped. They feel stuck in their self-doubt and the different things that are holding them back. So the reason that I feel like I can talk about this topic is because obviously I've gone through it, which I shall tell you a little bit about later on. But I've also written a book which is a self-help book that helps to for someone to break down these things and work through it as they go. And the book is Alchemy of Happiness, which is a healing the inner child book. So in this series, we're going to explore what inner child healing is and why it matters and how we can transform our lives if we feel stuck. And so what it is, inner child healing is us going back to the things that affected us in our childhood, and many of us have experiences that we think we have forgotten, but our nervous system, our subconscious remembers these things. So when we decide, which is the most important thing, to decide to actually take care of that aspect of our life, we actually revisit those moments once and for all and actually get to heal that aspect of our lives. And I'll tell you what happens if you do not heal it, because some people will say, hey, well, I'm doing just fine as I am. Why do I need to revisit these things? So yes, we might seem like we are doing fine on the outside, which usually is the case when it comes to our brain, which tries to stop us, to protect us, and protect us from any pains that we might have experienced. However, our nervous system remembers that, and our subconscious remembers that. And over time, while this thing gets masked, our nervous system is going to remember and is going to react a different way whenever something similar happens. And I'll give you an example. For someone who has gone through maybe had an abusive childhood, they're going to remember certain things and they're going to remember them instinctively, and they're going to react a certain way. And you'll find that somebody has a dislike for certain foods, or they have a dislike for certain areas, and the rest of it. Some people tend to actually go as far as doing hypnosis to actually bring back these things, or sometimes you can actually sit down. Some people bring it back a little bit through meditation and other modalities. But what this book does, it actually gives us the permission to sit down and work through this. And believe it or not, you'll be surprised that to find that sometimes, well, most of the time, we have the concealed emotion that drives us. It's like hidden, but it's like the engine of our lives. And then on the surface, we present differently. And I'll give you an example. So, for example, when we have fear, fear is a very general word. You might have fear for so many things. Might have fear for talking in public. Might have fear for socializing. Might have fear for swimming. But when you look deep, you will find that maybe the fear for socializing stems back from when we were children. At a certain age in our lives, something happened. Maybe we went to a gathering, a family gathering, or something along those lines, and something happened that remained in our brains that doesn't allow us to socialize as well as we would have loved. The other thing being, say, for example, we might have a special liking for a certain type of food, maybe we connect through that food, we connect to a certain memory in our lives. It could be that that food reminds me of such and such and such. And I'll give an example. um I loved cakes for the longest time, but my connection with cake is, it connects me to my childhood when my dad used to pack my container for school, and the only thing he was allowed to put in there was a cake. So all these things play a big role in our lives, and I might sit there and go like, well, I can do without most things, but I cannot do without cake. But then you might find that cake maybe affects my lifestyle or my health a certain way, and I struggle to um, to stop that habit. So many habits are created from the concealed emotions, negative emotions that we might even know nothing about or do not remember. So many of us do have childhood wounds. And these wounds actually end up shaping our behaviors, and they also shape the relationships we have. So you might find that someone doesn't want to hang out with they have a special dislike or a certain dislike for a certain type of people. And this could be because while you are in the playground as children, something happened that made them dislike, or maybe they were bullied by a certain type of people. And so when they grow up, they just do not like these people. And yet it was just a moment in time which shouldn't define our lives. So some common signs. So somebody might be asking themselves, how will I know that I have this? So some common signs of unhealed inner child include low self-esteem. That doesn't just come from anywhere. It is usually rooted in something that happened to us at a certain age, a stage in our lives. And then there's the self-doubt. Of course, as children, usually children have are very, very confident. They ask any question, they will do so many things without, like, fearlessly. But for them to have self-doubt, that is usually, or that would have been created by the people they hang out with, or maybe somebody slapped them each time they try to ask a question, or each time they try to express themselves. They were told to shut up, they were told to not talk about certain things. So they developed this habit of not asking, this habit of doubting if they're going to ask the same question. So these things do actually shape our lives. And also, you'll find that along the way, we're going to behave a certain way. We're going to choose our friends a certain way because we feel comfortable around this person. This person will never, they will never ask my intentions. They will never do such and such. So based on that, we build our lives on based on the fears that we have, or based on the habits that we have created over a period of time. So another example is neglect. If somebody was neglected as a child for whatever reason, as an adult, you're going to find that they're easily going to feel like, oh, this person doesn't love me, or they don't feel loved, however much they might be surrounded by loving people, kind people. They're still going to find moments where they'll feel like, I don't really think they do love me. Maybe they love me for something, maybe, and then you'll find that somebody's trying to overcompensate over a period of time. They'll try to overcompensate, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in working environment, that they have to do a lot for them to feel accepted. And another example is difficulty in expressing our emotions. Like, say, sometimes in relationships, you might find that somebody has a challenge, or they have something that they would like to discuss with their partner, but then they struggle so much to bring this thing out because they fear how it's going to be perceived. And yet the other person is quite fine, or is going to be quite fine, but this person is going to go like, I cannot even talk about this. I cannot or even if they try, they just end up, like, messing things up in the process of trying to express themselves. Or another example is lashing out for no apparent reason. Excuse me. You will find that sometimes there's some people who will will lash out for maybe somebody will say something and that thing is going to trigger them. But to them, they will not know what the trigger is. They'll just go like, I just don't like hearing somebody maybe sound like that or talk like that or that particular word or incident that is going to make them like lash out. So there's so many different little things that we might overlook, but yet they do play a bigger role. Like if you sat down and made an audit of how these things play in your life, you will be surprised how they have shaped your life over a period of time. So what we're going to do, this is going to be, I don't know how many parts we're going to do, but it's going to be in small biteable sizes so that we can go back and reflect and see how this plays in our lives, and then perhaps overcome these things. And my reason for doing this is because when I started, I really had so many questions, and I went through a process like I will be sharing in the next part. So for now, stay tuned. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, nice to see you back. And I intend to do a few series, so I would urge you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Until then, stay cool.